Hello everyone, I'm TG and I'm here to talk to you about the criminally underrated game Aliens Fireteam Elite. Today I want to share with you guys a build that I have been using on Extreme and Insane when it comes to the new Pathogen DLC on the Recon. Now, the Recon kit is kind of like a unique beast. The reason I say that is because there's so many wildly different ways to play it, and each one is going to kind of like take away from the other. So what I mean is, if you're speccing hard into using pups and you want Bloodhound, your build is going to be completely different than if you were speccing into your support drone. And that's true for, all the classes, but more so for the Recon, and we'll get into why in a bit. So just before I get started, guys, what I'm going to do is show you my perk grid, tell you why I'm using what I use, crunch a few numbers for you, and then show you some examples in-game of it in action. And then at the end, we're just going to touch on what weapons I'm using and why. Now, the first thing I want to kind of touch on is focus. And focus is pretty crap across the board, at least in my opinion. Even if you have full stacks and you're attaching everything that you possibly can to it, you're still not getting much out of it. And the perk slots that you're using on that can just be so much better utilized somewhere else. On top of all that, at its base, what focus is giving you is accuracy and stability. Now, you're a Recon, so most likely you're using some kind of precision weapon, like the Twilight or a sniper rifle. You don't need accuracy, and you don't really need stability either, so I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. Moving on to everyone's favorite, Red is Dead. So you and your teammates deal an additional 10% damage to revealed targets. Now, the thing about this is I just recently heard, and I'm not 100% sure if this is true, this only applies to the reveal that Pups applies to the enemies. So if you have a scope on your gun that causes a reveal, you're not going to get that extra 10% bonus damage. That being said, I'm also using Threat Neutralized, which means getting a headshot kill on revealed enemies recharges my abilities by 15%. And again, I've heard same thing, that doesn't work unless it's actually the reveal from Pups, but I haven't gotten to the bottom of that yet. Next is another personal favorite of mine, Got Your Back. So killing an enemy that's attacking a teammate instantly reloads you and your teammate's equipped gun, and back in the fight reduces the remaining recharge time for you and your affected teammates by 10% whenever you trigger it. Now, I want to talk about Pups, and this is what I was talking about earlier where Recon's kind of a unique beast. Pups is set up in the sense that all the variations of it are completely different. So whenever you look at the Demolisher, let's say, for his rockets, his regular rockets, his precision rockets, his napalm rockets, etc., they're all doing the same thing. But when it comes to Pups, they're all doing something completely different, and you have to build your build around it. So for this build specifically, I'm using the new Best Friend. This is going to increase the entire team's damage resistance, ability recharge, stumble chance, and reload speed by 15%, and every enemy that gets attacked by anyone on the team while this is active is revealed for a brief time. This is just so useful on the higher difficulties, but if you're not loving it, go ahead and use Guard Dog if you want, because Guard Dog is pretty darn useful when it comes to Extreme and Insane as well. Hell, you could even use Bloodhound, and as much as I love Bloodhound, I find in the higher difficulties, you don't quite get enough out of it when you compare it to the other variations. All that being said, I am using combined arms tactics, so when Pups and Support Drone are both active, all your allies are granted 20% increased reload speed, weapon handling, and range. So a lot of those things the Recon already has. This is just a really nice buff for your entire team. That's why I like to use it. Lastly, I'm just going to throw on old Quick Charge 2 there to increase the recharge speed of Pups by 13%. Finally, the rest of our grid is going to be dedicated to Support Drone, and there's a few reasons for this. Number one, when it comes to the higher difficulties, Recon is all about supporting the team. A lot of the times there are people that won't even play Extreme and Insane unless there's a Recon on the team. So in that vein, I decided I wanted to pump as much into Support Drone as I possibly can, because that's where you're getting the main benefit for your class, which is providing ammo and damage resistance. There's obviously other ways you can build a Recon, maybe a little more damage, better area control, but what I'm trying to say is I have never been in a situation where I was like, man, I wish that Recon did just a little bit more damage. However, I can't count the amount of situations where I was like, that Recon needs to start dropping some damn ammo. So let's keep our team happy. Batteries included is going to increase the recharge speed by 20%, but we're not going to be focusing on that, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to be using the Long Haul, which increases the duration by 20%, Painkillers, which causes the Support Drone to now increase damage resistance by 10% for everyone who's standing in the aura, and Extended Duration 3, 2, and 1. All that is going to give us a grand total of plus 58% when it comes to ability duration. Now you might be asking yourself, why all the duration? So the reason I'm doing that is because as it stands now, with this setup, you're going to be dropping 4 ammo drops every time you put down your drone, as opposed to the regular 2, and with just the long haul, you can push that up to 3. Why that's important is because I want to get as much ammo as possible, and we're not going to need any ability recharge, because on our pups we're using best friend as well as some other stuff. It's going to push our recharge to a place where we don't even need to worry about it. We're going to have our drone up whenever we need it. Last but certainly not least, let's talk a little bit about weapons. But before I do, remember guys, the weapons you're using as well as the mods on them, completely up to you guys. It's whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever complements your personal playstyle. Now, personally, for my rifle, I am using the Twilight version 4 single shot DMR. Now this little bastard needs no introduction. This is one of the best guns in the game. I've been using it on my Recon since basically launch day. I've tried other stuff, but this is what I always fall back on. It's fast, it's accurate, great stability, and it's got a big enough ammo clip that when using the Recon, a lot of the times you don't need to reload that often, so you don't need to worry about reload speed, etc. Next is my favorite CQW in the game, the DT57 single shot Medved shotgun. This thing is such a beast. You do have to reload after every 2 shots, but the reload is lightning quick and you can get that down even more. And if you're playing the Recon, sometimes you don't need to reload after 2. I've actually gotten up to the point where I've gotten 6 shots in a row without having to reload because I've got your back. The accuracy and stability numbers might seem a little low, but that's not a problem because it is a CQW. You're only going to be using it up close and personal. One thing I will advise you to not do is shoot your friends in the back of the face with this thing, because that's a one-shot kill on Extreme and Insane. So ladies and gentlemen, Marines of all ages, that is the build. I hope you guys try it out yourself, and I hope it helps you out just a little bit. And if it did, let me know down below what you liked, what you changed, etc. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'm TG. If you like what you saw, you know what to do.